Addiction thinks in circles, whereas invention thinks in spirals.
Yes. Yes,
And
yes,
I
yes.
love it. And spiral is not one dot, it's actually one seed becoming bigger and bigger and bigger
Mhm.
and bigger and bigger and bigger.
So I'm grateful for that. And then two, just the pain just reminding me like this body is so amazing.
Where else can you go
Hmm.
other than inside? And
Hmm.
when you're so almost like forced to face yourself, you find lots of love.
I refuse to have it defeat me.
So, first time you've been sick in many years, right?
Yeah, you remember that Friday night?
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That I couldn't recover. Yeah.
Mm.
Lesson learned. But yeah, I don't even know how to behave. That's the problem. So I take propolis, oregano oil, and that's about it. And lemon and rest and rest and rest. But yeah, I feel great. Now it's better.
Yeah. Yeah. Onions and garlic. Put onions in your
Ooh.
socks at night.
I used to do that
Yeah.
back when I was little. You? How do you know about that? That's very like witchy European stuff.
Yeah. Well, we're in Hawaii in Puna. The
Ah.
the woman we stayed with when we first moved here is from France, and
Mm,
she's like in the jungle. So she's got all the
yeah.
herbs and yeah.
Yeah. It works.
Yeah, it does.
It's so crazy how we just lean into the pills rather than natural remedies to make to remedy the body and the sick disease.
Hmm.
So you learned a
It's
lot.
funny. Yeah. That's exactly what I mean, Carly doesn't really use like herbs and topicals, but she when she does treatments, it's more like energetic, psychological, that sort of thing. And she's trying to bring someone on to help with like interpreting people's labs. And this woman
Mm,
was a physician back in Colorado, and she's like, Carly, I don't know if I can do this because when I look at labs, I'm so trained to prescribe something. And so she's like, I don't know how to like not do that. And it's just
yeah.
wild how the whole medical system, if you think about the education, I think they have one nutrition class in one semester in 10 years of schooling.
And no
And
physical
obviously,
education.
yeah, no physical and obviously nothing on energetics or
Mm.
you know the important stuff, the underlying root causes.
Speaking of hierarchy and
Yeah,
being in the midst of the system, it's very
right.
appropriate to talk about it. 50th Jinky, did this like boil you up a little bit underneath it when reading Shadow?
I didn't think it did, and then I was responding to some messages, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm fiery right now." Yeah,
Mm,
so and it's interesting in the I Ching. This is um, fire over air, I think, or air over fire. I think it's air over fire. It's the cauldron. If you think about air over like a cauldron, it's like intense heat. Yeah. So I'm like, hmm. But in astrology, it's Libra, obviously, the balance, harmony. And I was like, in 49, I looked back at it. I'm like, why? I was like, I'm so curious now about the astrology because I felt like I couldn't connect with it. And I'm like, I have a feeling it's going to be like air, Aquarius. I looked it up. It's Aquarius, of course.
39?
49.
Oh, 49.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should write this down. And this is Libra.
This is Libra and Scorpio.
And why couldn't you connect with Aquarius? Funny.
Yeah,
Come
Aquarius.
on,
I don't know.
Pisces.
Yeah, I know.
Bring on that water. Yeah, I like this one. This one is very Libra. Like you said, it's almost like equilibrium versus this balance. Totally. And okay, let's backtrack. There's so much to talk about this.
Sure.
Obviously, we're more excited about it and more fiery. Is this fire still present inside of you? Do you want to argue?
Yeah.
I just want to
No, I'm not
set
gonna
myself
argue.
up.
I might set myself on fire, but
Okay. And arguing is like welcomed, you know. And our
oh, okay.
arguing is like laughing most of the time about our silliness.
Mhm.
Um, when it comes to this corruption thing, and you know that this question, and I really want to talk to you about it because you to me you're so vast and so deep. So either way you turn around, there will be a lot of space to enter rather than just tunnel vision up and down vertically. And I wanted to touch base on where this fear comes from that gets us corrupted later on to compare in the middle of the shadow. And how do you understand, you know, who we are as human species, where we come from as human species, who created us as human species? And do you find, first, what do you have to say on that? Do you like to study where we come from? Do you wonder who you are, not only as a human being as Eric, but who we are as species, where we come from? And second, do you find this need to find out where you come from?
Hmm. And you mean where we come from, like on a
As,
cosmological
as a species?
as a species? Oh yeah, I have almost no clue.
Almost give me
Um,
that little that you have wondered.
mm, um, I don't I don't think we're untouched by divinity or higher intelligence. So that's as much as I can intuit, and then people have theories or ideas about Pleiadian or, whatever, Arcturian, whatever life forms may or may not exist out in the universe, and cosmological theories, like the etheric bodies that we have, higher consciousness. If you look at esotericism, how we're essentially fractalized into matter, but we're the higher fractal, like going lighter and lighter out of matter and into energy. Um, and that to me, like if you ask me about origin or uh, my theory on who we are in the universe, I tend to shift more to that spiritual perspective. And when you ask me directly, like, where do we come from? That's where I'm like, oh, I can't answer.
But it's such a important question for us as humans to ask. And you know, like I don't wonder about it all the time. I'm just going in this system that I'm so programmed to go day to night. But I was listening and I was laughing of this one because for this whole week I've been diving into the ancient civilization docuseries. This is my
Okay.
way of watching TV. I was like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna do the puzzle, 1,500,000
Mm-hmm.
puzzle, and I'm gonna listen to the ancient civilizations. And hours pass by, and I'm just literally just zoomed in, and all I do, I just listen. And there's a lot. So puzzles connect in the
Yeah.
understanding, and so much
Yeah.
research has been done archaeologically to dig out these sites now, and the melting pots we have on both sides of the earth, and underneath the oceans, bunch of cities flooded. So it's
Oh, they
always
just
that
found
question.
something, by the way.
You see where?
Yeah. Oh, I have to look. But Pam Gregory just noted,
Uh-huh.
she's like, oh, we have Neptune and Pisces about water and then how it interacts. And they found like this structure. They're guessing it's 4 to 6,000 BC.
Oh my God. These things date us 35,000 years backwards that we can prove,
Yeah.
right? That we can actually now prove, not just 2,000 or whatever, 5,000 years ago. You're talking 35,000 years back. Speaking of theoretically 250,000 years back. As a
Hmm.
human species who survived catastrophe, who survived catastrophes that almost like destroyed us. So they're
Hmm.
now literally talking about these ritualistic people, or like almost like tribal groups that have saved these rituals of initiating. Oh my God, it's so good. But let me try to summarize it. It's all over my head. That are ritualizing a protective to protect what is underneath the core. So
Hmm.
now they're speaking about there's whole other world underneath in our earth that
That's what I
have
just did.
been and this fascinates me when we live on the
Hmm.
top of the earth and the surface, how much we don't even wonder. We're just like so blinded and just doing all these little hierarchical things and following blindly. But rather than actually wondering if this even is a possibility, why not? There's whole other ginormous world of our predecessors living underneath the earth, still livable. You're talking plants and giants and whole structures deep, deep down in the core, in order to preserve the civilization of humanity. So they're deeply down, hidden. They still live, but they were created originally by, you know, whomever, Pleiadians or whoever, in order to preserve the humanity. And this all comes down to where this hierarchy is coming from. So it's always that question with this docuseries. They always question by why, and then go deeper down by why, and then you have many different people coming in and debating or theorizing why can that possibly be, and where is the Anunnaki coming from, right? As the almost the god who wants a humanity to slave for them, and how
Hmm.
this is all interpreted. So there's this whole pyramid actually created, and I love it. It's whole pyramid created that explains this hierarchy specifically. I'm going to take a picture and send it to you after. And you'll be surprised. It's like, wow, when you start zooming out, and then when you start even theorizing of what can be, I'm almost feeling like we're moving out of the shadow, right? So on the energetic level and on the
Hmm.
mind, and you almost slowly move out of shadow of corruption, and you slowly enter into, oh, but yes, I know I still have to do this to pay my bills because I'm stuck in the system.
Yeah.
But my whole other part of me energetically is not living in it. It's not approving, it's refusing it.
Hmm.
And that's that silent revolution, that like a lot of us are moving out in a small groups, small groups, small groups, small groups. So I found this fascinating to be the Jinky this week because I was so deeply in it, so deeply into where do we come from. And that not knowing actually caused us to lose, we actually don't know who we are. So zoom out and imagine not knowing who you are. Actually, that's the truth. We don't know where we come from. We don't
Hmm.
know who is our creator, not a God, not religion God, religious God. We don't know. And we're lost thinking we do.
Well, yeah, depending on who you are.
Say
It's
more.
it's uncomfortable to be in the unknown, so we attach to whatever is available. And a lot of cultures have structured belief systems that you follow to fit in. Like, okay, this is a Catholic country. You're going to have Catholic beliefs, and you have a Father God who sits up there somewhere and he's controlling everything, or whether you're Muslim or Buddhist or whatever. So it's much easier to accept, attach, and as a byproduct of that, be in community, be accepted, than to say like, well, how do we really know that? Or is that something that we can actually know? And can I question this without being excommunicated from my church or my community? Um, so that being said, and then too, like, there's you speak and when we speak about tribal living, there's the Native American and Native peoples all around the world who have these relics from ancient history that predate anything that we have written down, like cuneiform writings or just symbolic writings or drawings of depictions of artistic drawings, and how each society all across the world depicts like an astronaut looking thing. Like it looks like an astronaut or a flying vehicle or a human in a flying vehicle, um, among other symbols that are shared all across the world. So it's like we've clearly been given, actually we enter the veil, right? That's part of humanities. We have a veil that's put over our eyes, and we're not able to know the truth of where we come from or who we are. And I think that's part of it. Feels to me that that's part of like some initiation that we're going through, of potentially just learning how to love despite all obstacles and all odds, like how to deepen into what it means to be truly human and awaken our hearts and open that up. So, um, when I think about origins, it tends to push me into like, when you look back, there's a reflection point of also looking forward of like where are we headed. And it is interesting how, like you say, I really like what you're saying. Like, of course, we have our duties that we have to pay our bills. We have to do X, Y, and Z. We have to have insurance on our cars. We have to go through the system for now. But kind of like an emotional detachment to it, not letting it dictate how, like the quality of life, how we're showing up. And it's almost like in, I think an interesting parallel is like during COVID, the phenomenon of quiet quitting was really trendy.
Mm-hmm.
Of people who were working remotely and not really doing their work because they were just like checked out, trauma response or whatever. But uh, yeah, we're preparing for that, and it's interesting to see. I have this. I just told Carly the other day. I'm like, hey, we have a good opportunity here to make a lot of money doing something that we love to do, and also that's on the one hand, and on the other hand, preparing for a world that doesn't use or need money to operate, or however that looks, or doesn't need the hierarchy of the structures that we've been participating in. So it's like, I think to evolve during this time takes the ability to hold two very different energies and be able to integrate and also like continue living. Um, and I've seen that in myself, and I've seen that in the spiritual community too, like this deep, like this push to be like, clearly it's ending, so let's end it now. We're going to be uh all local food. We're only going to trade. We're going to stop using cash. And it's like you can have the ideal and you're holding the ideal, or maybe we're sensitive to where we're headed, but there's this like there's this element of like things just take a little bit longer than what we prefer. And part of that too is like, I don't know, maybe we're not meant to completely reject the foundation that's been set up. We're not meant to completely reject the ancestors or the people that were very Capricornic in that age,
Mm-hmm.
but also just accept the totality of humanity and learn to love each part of it so that we can carry forward the lessons and create something new. What are your thoughts?
Mm. I keep ringing in my head. It's like we cannot just disregard what was all the way up to this point in any sense or any aspect. Gaffney is really big on this too. And I really like how he puts it and says, you don't erase the category. You add on top of it. Like you
Yeah.
add on what was. So, we are, I consider ourselves more, not advanced in a sense, but capable, willing, even more, having more energy. This
Mhm.
morning I jumped out of bed with energy. My mom and my grandma, they didn't jump out of bed with that much extra energy. So they took themselves stretching slowly, right? So there's so much more energy for us to use. And why wouldn't be add on the top of it? And I'm not saying this to get to the burnout moment. You know exactly what energy I'm talking about, right? Not the
Mhm.
one when you have to, because you're full of fear and contractions, rather than, why not? I can add this. So
Yeah.
that's my thinking, is like, sure, I'll do it, but I'm not there. My soul, you know how I told you often this year, until we had a major org structures at work. And for the entire year, my soul was here. My whole being, 95% was staying where I need to stay, doing what I want to do, and my legs were going there 5%. So, and I took it. I was like, okay, I'll give you 5%. That's all you get from me. Because everything is staying here. I'm not there. I am a shell, and that's all you get. And I can think as a shell. So I think we can do this. Like, you really have to, but can I come back to understanding first, to get to a point where I understand why I'm doing certain things. It's like I have to zoom out so much, because you have a responsibility for your children and your family, right? So you are almost like forced to be, zoomed in and deal with the what it is, right? What, you can't just chop it. I have a lot of, friends at work who say, it's like, oh, I'm going to do anything you tell me to do. This change, sure. This change, sure. And I was like, oh, like, for every change, there's a yes to follow. And I hear it all the time. I'm going to dial up to prove them I'm worth. And I'm like, unless you know your worth,
Mm.
you're not going to prove them. They're going to give you out boot easily. So they're trying, there's so much control that you almost have to succumb yourself to, right? So almost like there's part of you that, and I'm not speaking you specifically, when you have so much responsibility, especially to feed and survive and get the basic needs met, then there's no option. You know, you're gonna do a Trader Joe's
Yeah.
cashing, like if you have to, or drive the taxi. But at the same time, it makes me feel for humanity, species. I'm talking, there's so newly birthed love for us as humans that are still not knowing that we're very valuable in this solar system, that we are the only inhabitants of, by the way. We can't even comprehend how big our solar system is, how long it takes. We only reached to Mars, not even to the sun. Our mass solar system is huge, and we're the only inhabitants. We're very alone in this. And then you zoom it out, and then you take this little mini box of the James Webb's just picture, and then you zoom it in, and you see so many galaxies far away from one another. But we're not alone. We cannot be alone in this big universe. Yet we're alone in our galaxy, and we're here killing each other. If because we don't know that we
Yeah.
are all trying to survive, which is the irony. So of course I'm going to wonder, but why? And what makes us wanna destroy one another? You know? So why are we not knowing that we're valuable? And maybe because we don't know where we come from. And if we only knew, imagine this, if we only knew, you know how your children know where they come from. They come from you too. Imagine if they didn't know. And there are many, many adopted children in the world. It's the empty part of you that stays never fulfilled. And that's our humanity, because we actually do not know where we come from, genetically, biologically, who created us. And this whole initiative that is now digging in, trying all this science that are independent scientists, literally saying no to the order, or I'm sorry, no to the hierarchy, no to the programs, and literally pulling independent work and coming together is showing you so much more. But Stefan Burns is one of them too. It's like you're talking of someone who is willing to step out of the normal or the hierarchical way and order, corrupted way, and speak outside. And there's so many. Used to be back in the day, the ones that we were burned, right, to the stake for just saying something. But there's so many of us now actually exiting the structure by will and saying no and refusing to do it one way or another, and actually grouping together and doing different things together. So this to me is huge initiative to raise us out of shadow. And I love it. I love it for us. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, we're orphans. It puts it in perspective when you said that. I'm like, oh, like orphans in an orphanage, and we're mad at the orphanage. And we're all fearful and competing for resources. We all want to have 2 bowls of soup in the evening, so we try to do the right thing, or we steal, or we kill. Yeah. And in that analogy, it's like if all the true parents showed up and said, hey, you're actually ours, and we can't stay with you, but now you know a little bit about who you are and where you come from. Yeah, I think that would certainly help quite a bit. But there's, of course, like, in the perspective that it's all perfect, like, of course, the veil. Let me just ask you, what is which theory or which idea do you closely energetically align with when it comes to why our knowledge is veiled, the knowledge of our true history?
Okay. We have actually, a proof on our earth in the form of giant structures and rocks and pyramids and sphinx and cities underneath the water, cities underneath the ice, that we ourselves can never replicate with all this knowledge that we have in technological advancements to today's day. There has been a civilization before us that was much smarter and advanced than us, and we think we're so advanced. And to have structures that predate, and this touches back to Hermeticism and symbolism, that predate, almost like goes back so much backwards, that survived the flooding and survived the catastrophes of the earth, right? The comets and everything else. There is a reason why this is still available to us. And to look at it, and here's where my mind is boggled by, to look at it and completely disregard the fact that it's there, that we don't know where it come from, who created it, and actually just disregard it and mark it as a world it's just a, what is it called? The world wonder.
Hmm.
And put it all the way on the side and actually not zoom in. So you look at all these sites, these portals, Stonehenge, the rocks with the frequencies in between. They're all over the place, and they're actually most of them are discovered in the areas of war currently. This is East Asia or Iraq, Afghanistan, and all these places. We're taking so much force just to protect or actually never allow a human being to come there and discover. We're trying and we're making efforts. Underneath the right paw of the sphinx, there's so much that we even touched into it, maybe 1%, and the government said no. So nobody in Egypt is now allowed to go and discover what is underneath the paw. But why? You have to ask why. Right. You have to ask why these perfected monuments are still sustained in also underneath the sand, also underneath the soil. So you're talking layers and layers and layers. So to me, I don't identify or nothing rings the bell other than it's way more than what we are forced to think it is. That's good enough that what you tell me and you teach me it's not. And to me is enough to question everything that you told me, not disregard it. I understand the reason why. Imagine if someone came in and said, hey, we are not the only beings living here. And when UFOs were just movies back in the day and not closed 54 area, right? Or whatever, area 54. Imagine panic. How much I can only fathom the panic. And based on what happened during COVID, how many people panicked, not knowing because you have this innate need to survive. How many people panic for Palisades fire? I mean, it's over and over again. Like when we are in panic, we are so dysregulated, we don't think straight. We will kill to survive. And that is, deeply, deeply printed in our human genes. So it's enough for me to question everything that I'm told is true and open myself up to so much more possibilities because, wow, it is normal to think that there's so much more life than what we just think. And it saddens me that we are zoomed into our day-to-day obligated responsibilities that we're told. Because listen, who created the idea that we have to work 40 hours a week? Not 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 in many countries, including California. You have to now work minimum 3 jobs in order to sustain your basic needs. It's like, that doesn't make sense. Where do I have time to think, to feel, to be, to become? Doesn't make sense. So we're almost like so suppressed. It's like almost this like compression comes into to limit everything. And then you have generations. And then you have all these wars that you have to figure out. And then you're fearful. And then generations later, we're still fearful, full of fear that it's not only ours, but also put upon us to believe it's normal. This is not normal to fear this much life. It is not.
Hmm.
So I don't have a truth other than everything I know is not the truth. And that's good enough for me to loosen up a little bit and think outside the box for now. How about
Hmm.
you?
It's a great answer. Yeah, I
How
took
about
it on.
you?
mm, why are
Bring
we
that
veiled?
Arizona.
Yeah, I just I think it was Dolores Cannon who kind of talked about this like veiling of the souls who come here to the earth. And for some reason that just resonates. And but I don't really I don't really dwell on it too much. I do have this I do have this hope that one day we will know. And maybe it's during the this like lifespan that we get to experience, or maybe it's something that occurs. I don't know. As much as I hope it, I'm like, intuitively a little bit nervous that we potentially will never know. And maybe that's okay too. I don't know. It's a little bit disorienting to feel like, hey, you'll never have it figured out. The um the messenger is not going to come and be like, here's, we've been watching you and we've been watching your progress, and you as a collective, now you're ready to receive the knowledge of who you are, where you come from, and we'll give you all the history. I don't know. But then there's, of course, there's like very connected people that claim they have access to Akashic records. They're like, it's all recorded there. And yeah, it when I go too, like when you're like pinpointing it, when I go too far in, it starts to feel a little bit like contraction, and I
Mm.
start I start to empathize with the fear of humanity, where normally I'm like kind of disassociated from it. So yeah.
But you see, and I think this is, if we only wondered, we would feel more for one another, right? If we own that, what you said, I just empathize with humanity. It's like, if we only started questioning, we will come to some sort of conclusion, not now, later, whenever, that we're really underneath. What we are doing is not. Can you, like it, let me rephrase. Can you imagine the humanity when what you and I are doing is normal at all levels, at work, in education,
Mm-hmm.
in love, in relationships? We cannot even imagine what heaven or Garden of Eden
Yeah.
feels like, looks like. We can't. We're just reading about it in mythology or storytelling, but we cannot imagine. And it's hard for me to accept that in this huge universe, everybody is in war.
Mm-hmm.
Every potential species or livable energy is in war. Why are we against one another? It's like it doesn't make sense. And because it doesn't make sense, you almost see us as really trying to find the meaning and
Mm.
yet failing in it. And yet something much more intelligent than us back in a long time ago preserved the keys or the language on the stones in the form of symbolism to allow us to maybe even say, hey, maybe our creators were half human, half animal. And I was also laughing because you said, this one is a Scorpio, and my astrologer just did the pain and pitfalls of Scorpio last week, and her videos are hilarious. She's really, really good in storytelling. She's Sagittarius, so she makes it big and really adventurous. And she said, when Scorpio goes wrong, you sleep with it, you wake up with it, and you're like sleeping with a reptilian.
Mm-hmm.
And which is true, because you don't know. Like we actually don't know more than we know. And to just
Mm-hmm.
give yourself a chance to wander off, it doesn't scare me. It excites me. It excites me to call myself a little very, very limited and silly to think that I know everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But imagine you may be sleeping with a reptile,
Yeah. Right.
the shadow, and she explains the shadows of a sign when it goes wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just reflecting about how my brother-in-law visited the pyramids in Egypt, and it's like it's like my dream, and I was like, how was it? You went inside? How was it? What did you experience? Did you feel anything? Did He was like, oh, it's just cold and dark.
I love it.
Like what? Yeah.
Sorry, you
It's
went for pictures.
because, yeah, because, like you said, with these structures, like if you truly understand the math behind the pyramids, it's your, it's like, what is it? The latitude, longitude, some calculation of it. I forget. I have to look it up. Robert Edward Grant talks about it. It matches perfectly with the speed of light. The angle of the sides of the pyramid is like very particular in how it lines up. It also has clear solar solar system anomalies of like alignment and organization. So it's just like even just one structure, one of the most famous in the world, and most people just are like, "Oh yeah, it was the pharaoh and some slaves." And it's like, "No, dude, that's not even if you could like figure out how it was done physiologically or physically, you can't still explain how the chambers were created, and they still haven't explored all the chambers, how the mathematics were so precise that from a large level it looks like it was done with lasers or um I think the proposed theory from the new age community is like anti-gravitational devices or using sound frequency to help
Mm-hmm.
move. Yeah. And but it's we go back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs and the psychology. And it's like if you can't escape out of level 2, you can't possibly touch level 4. And I think, this is the age that we're moving out of. And part of the age of Aquarius is it's more abundant. The technology increases, it becomes available for all. And I think, the gift of Aquarius is the gift of knowledge, the gift of access, the gift of opportunity. And you think about so many of these cultures that are in these perpetual wars, like Pakistan and India, or these sub-Saharan African countries that are plagued by civil war and fighting and infighting, not to mention other conflicts. But now it's like we're going to connect, and you're going to know if your government is corrupted or if the politician is speaking truth. Like it's just going to be, my idea is the the evolution out of that hole is going to be accelerating in the near future. And I think that's part of this collective awakening that's occurring. And you and I were just at the forefront. So if this becomes the new normal, you and I will be doing something far different.
Yeah, and all this to say, in almost like a need to figure out who we are, and we have it available. We have a coding available. We have technology available. Let's see what can we do, and
Mhm.
are we going to be again stopped by figuring it out? Göbekli Tepe is one of the sites that has been really huge in understanding how far we predate, and it has been only discovered. What did they say? 10%.
Yeah.
10%. That we're just at the beginning. At the
Yeah.
beginning.
And that's an estimated 10%.
Estimated.
And of course, you look at the Sahara Desert,
Hmm.
4 to 6,000 miles across of sand, and you're like, what could be under there?
Hmm.
Endless possibilities. And then, of course, the oceans, even more profound.
The oceans, the polar opposites as well, polar nodes.
Yeah, Antarctica. Yeah.
And we literally want to find out. This is where this curiosity comes in. You and I are digging into the
Hmm.
symbolism of what can it possibly be. Look how far we debate, and not even debate, we theorize, maybe this, maybe that, maybe this. We will never know. And there's also this really, really hardening movie that was on Netflix recently. It was done by Chinese people. And it's called Three Bodies, I think it is, or Planes or Planets, something like that. And I watched like four episodes only, because it was so cold to think that we're in this program that is a but Matrix way of program. And it's such a psychological thriller. It's almost like dark in psychology. And I usually don't watch these type of movies, but okay, I'll give it a shot. It was recommended. And
Is it Three Body Problem?
yes, have you seen it?
I haven't.
Try it.
Eh. I'll let you tell me about
Exactly.
it.
Huh?
I'll let you tell me about it.
I hated it. I hated it. And because I was like, I
Eric,
hated
try
it
it. I hated it.
because it was bothering me. The blindness of us bothered me so much that we couldn't get out of that shadow, out of that veil, out of that thickness. It was just very much in the hands of one person pressing that one thing and killing the sun in an entire galaxy.
Mm,
And, just shooting the sun just because we advanced too much or we understood too much, which connects me to all the other reasons why we underwent almost like such many trials to be extinct as a species, and yet we're still here, and yet something still digs down the symbols written, the reasons,
mm,
and who knows what potential keys, and leaves us these tuning forks in a form of rocks that have frequencies that can teleport us someplace else. So none of it makes sense, yet it makes more sense than what we are told to believe in. So
yeah.
I'm
Yeah, that
hoping this age of Aquarius will push us through
mhm.
that individuation and freedom for at
Yeah.
least, yeah.
Yeah, well. That's to me that sounds like from, typically you have an outside perspective, it's cleaner. And what you told me about Three Body Problem, I'm like, oh, that's a clear programming to get people to feel like a sense of defeat and purposelessness and hopelessness. Like, don't even try, because once you get there, boom, it's all gone.
Of course, your Mercury is in Aquarius. You are ruled by Mars. Of course, you're going to rebel against it. Don't do it.
Yeah, I try to keep in mind, like, because I do watch programming and I'm just like, what is the program here? Let me just think that I have an idea of what I'm being programmed to do. And then I think, like you said, what we're called to be right now is open. And
Mhm.
um, it's interesting how in the last 5 years, for me, I saw and experienced a rejection of the old system and structures. And now there's a clear, well, it's not very clear. It's actually pretty muddy. It's almost like some of that energy is kind of faded out. It's like exhausted itself. And people are kind of falling back into the old structures, the old fears, the old paradigms. Like, oh, okay, maybe AI isn't so bad for us.
Mm.
Let's, oh, um, maybe having a job is a good thing. Maybe having, and it's like you accept when you're ready and at certain levels. And I think most of us are not prepared for what's going to happen in the next few years, myself included.
There's, yeah. Why are you smiling about it? Is that your new kink? It's like I'm getting a kink of it because it's, isn't it messed up that we don't know yet we're smiling? Everybody is laughing actually at it. Because it's that terrifying not to know.
Mm.
Everybody, I'm not saying everybody, but majority of people that I meet, it's like, we'll worry about it later. And
Yeah,
can I? Okay, go
yeah.
ahead.
Just real quick, and then you could go. I I think my laughter comes from a place of like um hope.
Hmm,
Yeah.
good.
I don't think it's gonna be all bad. On the front end it
Yeah.
might look pretty bad, but we'll see. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
Forgot. It
Oh,
disappeared.
shoot.
Yeah. I'll come back. Ah, yeah.
Well, equilibrium and harmony. Anything stand out to you? There's a key theme here in the gift about the shadows we inherit from our parents and how that's passed down genetically, and also um
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Carl Jung said nothing has a stronger influence psychologically on their environment and especially on their children than the unlived life of the parent. Unlived life of the parent. Maybe I didn't understand that when I first read it. Unlived life of the parent. Oh, so it's about the repression. Okay.
A
That's interesting.
parent who is not living their dreams or their life rather than someone else's life because he has to.
Yeah, that resonates for me.
It does.
Yeah, this is yeah, it's what I see in my parents for most of their lives. I think they in retirement they're finding their new way of being. So it's like, is it all bad, right? But I remember
Same.
growing up and just seeing repression, experiencing repression, the energy of it.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. But it sounds like your mom is kind of in the same place now where she has had to repress but is kind of finding a new way of thinking and being.
Oh yeah, this woman does not want to leave. She's as busy as she has ever been. Can't get enough of herself. It's like, I love my life. I love my space. I love my time. I love my body. I love everything I'm eating. She's so consciously aware and intentional with it. It's like, where have you been all my life? What happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
And
it's a gift though to, because I feel the same with my father. It's like it's a gift to be able to experience it later on. And of course we have like that moment of like why did it take 30 years, 40 years of my life before it happened? But yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And that like forgiving, it's not even forgiving, but you see, to me, when in doubt, zoom out and it all makes sense.
Yeah.
And to put pressure in such a small, little personal, subjective way of we project, like we cannot not to project to each other, you know? And it all makes sense why we do it when you really start like understanding what are we as a collective doing and what are we trying to do? Like, what are we trying to do? So it helped me understand to zoom out and let her just be her. And I think that pressure was very much almost like freeing for liberating. And I want to go back to like, like we didn't really when you really think about our advanced times and modern times, really, we actually really didn't invent much. We're not really, let me just give you another pillar to not stand on, but really have it. But we're not really that smart. Like everything is still operating based on last I checked, Romans setup, the clock, the time, marriage systems, everything is just the same.
Civilization.
Yes. So everything is set up the same exact way all this time. We really didn't, we're still part of it majority of our times. And we can't seem to break out of it. So I am hoping for these shadows genetically to be this RNA, DNA thing to do its own thing with my little tiny little contribution of, okay, let's talk about this. Let's hold each other. Let's create a safe space, these little mini pockets that I can do to my best ability and hope or let it flow for us to change the way that we really understand ourselves, and that almost give a different option to think or to feel different layers and possibilities, because right now we don't really, everything is falling apart. Talk about the marriage just simply as exact same thing that stayed the same for a very long time while we all changed and are still evolving and changing. Why can't we change this narrative about
What
the
would you
relationship?
like?
You see, it's not a menu available for you. You have to try different things. And I think this is exactly what we're doing. We're trying different things. The
Yeah.
polyamory is coming up, and okay, let me open the marriage. Let me try it. Let me come back. It's like this push and forward. So we're really trying to figure it out, how to get out of the claws of the system that is, and this, just to add, in each trial in our past to sustain and break through, we were almost shut off. So to me, after putting all these puzzles together of information, data, we're accelerating into desire to free ourselves, the same way like technology is accelerating in the sense at the same time. And yet, I hope we can break through it, right? I have a hope that we will break through it, and I want to hold onto that hope, and I want to put my energy towards it, right? Same way like sending your energy towards that way, rather than believing that something has a just big paw to put us and smush us down again. People died for freedom, and we are dying over and over again for freedom, just to be free of what? Freedom, big deal, huge deal. To think,
Oh,
to feel, to be.
freedom. Freedom, freedom, freedom. It's been coming up. I think by the time we hit 55, I think there's going to be some like big shifts there.
Say
Which for
more.
us is, which for us is 5 weeks from now. So probably in January, we might have to have a whole month for 55 because it's a big one. Well, it's like, okay, so I'm watching this program. I'll call it what it is right now. It's called Foundation. It's very sci-fi, futuristic, and there is a a dynasty of one man as a emperor, and he keeps cloning himself in different variations. So he's been the controller for thousands of years. And he's had this assistant who is a robot. And there was like, okay, she's like the last living robot because there was a fight between humans and robots, etc. And she's been actually the one running the show behind the face of the emperor.
Mhm.
She's been in control. And then you have like the subjects, the people underneath, and there's this clear resistance or rebellion that's propping up. And everyone, all at the end of season 2, were having this crisis about their personal freedom.
Hmm.
And it was like everyone that thought they were in control or uh had like the higher hand in a situation, it was revealed to them like, no, you're just a pawn. You're acting exactly. So the emperor, he's going on this arc of like rebellion, of like doing what has he's never done in the past, changing things, like marrying this person, like ending his dynasty, whatever. And he's like, see, I can adapt, because part of the rebellion is this mathematical prediction of the decline of the current empire. And so he's like, I did everything different. And meanwhile, as you're seeing how he's doing everything different, you're seeing the collapse happening internally, externally. And he's like, I did everything different. So I didn't follow your predictions. And therefore, it's not going to go the way that you've set it out, mathematically predicted. And it's revealed to him, like, oh, you kind of actually acted exactly. This is why it's ending, because there's
Yeah.
like this crisis and you're seeking freedom from, when we look, if your future was predicted, you would feel kind of caged by it, so you would seek freedom. If we're told that we don't have personal choice, you would try to choose something radical to make proof that you have choice. And
Mm.
recently, outside of just me watching the show, I've had this sense of like there's like two things happening, two levels, or like maybe it's just a gradient between like black and white, or whatever you want to call it, of on a personal level, of course we can choose. But on some higher level, I don't feel that there's any choice being made.
Hmm.
It is already made. And I think when we step out of our temporal view of this experience of now is, 6 a.m. Sunday, December 14th, 2025, and tomorrow will be the 15th, and the next day will be the 16th. You step out of the temporal, which means you're not in the 3D structure anymore. Then immediately when you step out and you look at time, you're like, oh, this is largely an illusion. And actually, the quantum nature of things is more real than this three-dimensional way of things. Therefore, how can our personal choices be personal? How can
Mhm.
they be free? How can they be free choices? And then I was like, of course, I have 55 as like my pinnacle life's work, and this keeps coming up. And I can feel now like this awakening of, are we victims or are we free? And then that shows up. Maybe it shows up in workplace. Maybe it shows up in wartime in your country. Maybe it shows up in your seeking of spirituality. Maybe it shows up in relationships, in marriage. But I feel like we're all kind of being pushed to the precipice of kind of needing to look at, am I a victim or am I actually free? And then there's levels to it. Just as like you think you're emperor of the entire galaxy, or I don't even know what it would be called. And really, you're playing by some other mathematical rules that you can't even comprehend. Are you a victim then, or are you free? What does freedom look like to you? What does it mean to be free? I think these are the next level questions that emanate out of, where do we come from? And who are we?
And also what we have available to lean on.
Which is perfect. Richard talks about the gift of intimacy here, and specifically meaning honesty in an interaction with others. So laying it all out on the table.
Mm,
And the
yeah.
energy is so needed right now, and it feels so good to receive it. Someone's like, "Hey, this is my these are my these are my motives with my relationship with you, or these are my motives with what we're doing." It's like, okay, perfect. Now we can move forward with clarity instead of trying to play these roles or pretend like we're something else.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm, mm, so good.
Mm-hmm.
And painful.
Yeah.
Very painful.
Yeah.
Very painful. Truth can be very painful. Painful, emotionally very painful. Because, oh, did we live in a lie? My grandma, I have that. Now it's funny because, my grandpa is still alive. My grandma passed away a couple years ago. She was 92. She said, "You live with the biggest enemy. Your husband is your biggest enemy." Funny, but also can be truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Battle of the sexes.
and yet they had 71 years of marriage. Can you believe?
Yeah.
71 years of marriage. This is, unless they're grandparents or parents, like, I guess we'll see. It's a rarity to even want to, but they never talk about 7-year cycles or, like having a crisis to start again and start again. No, 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 no. My grandpa, I love, he always talks. He's like, at some point, he was so busy working that he's like, at some point, he's like, "What? I'm 60? My birthday? What do you mean? When? 60 already?" I
Yeah.
love it. Totally. Just do nonstop. Forget about 40
Mm-hmm.
hours. It was way more than 40 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the truth, I think we're softening to it. And we're also softening to the fact that it can be painful, that it hurts, that a lot of things are hurting us, and allowing just to acknowledge and almost speak out of that pain. Like it softens everything. And, when I go online, there's information overload. Everybody's giving advice. Guilty, right? So everybody's doing something to tell you what's wrong, what's right. It's such a, in a way, when I see it, I'm almost like, oh, I'm not doing anything new. We're not doing anything new. It's, but it's almost telling you to stop believing, to let go, to don't do this. If she does this, then you are this. Like, it's a whole step 1 through 12 program that is you must do and do not ever again. And it's almost like threatening to follow the steps. And unless I follow it, oh my God, I'm not, it's almost freaks you out because they apparently know how not to be hurt next time. And I'm almost like, but why not? Soften to it. It's okay. It's not, you're not dying from it. It's like, it's fine to get hurt. It's like, don't
Did you
tell
read
me.
the Osho chapter when you were sick?
No, was it supposed to?
Oh, you're gonna love it.
Really?
It's
Can't wait.
totally, yeah, essentially like, who are you to guide another? It's just like
Oh,
it attacks it. It just goes hard. And I was like, oh, Lisa's
nice.
gonna love this. And then you texted me, you're like, hey, I can't. I'm like, oh,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
you're
Sorry.
missing it.
Oh, but that was my truth. I was
No, it's
like,
good. It's good. Yeah,
I
it's
love
it's
that.
it's perfect. It's like they're yeah, it just totally takes apart the hierarchy. So funny how aligned that is here.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Funny.
yeah. And then the other side of it is like, well, of course, it doesn't mean denial of your growth. It just means that you no longer accept that someone has something over you or that you have something, especially that you have something over someone else that you can teach them. I'm like, oh, this is like Melissa's been saying this, and I haven't been agreeing.
Again. Oh my God, you're funny. You don't have to agree. You can't agree.
I still can't. I'm like, I like it, Osho, but I'm like, what about? I always try to find like, what about this situation? What about? Yeah,
That's your nature.
yeah,
This was good. Can I
yeah.
just add one more for CD? Humanity has always sensed the presence of the Illuminati or chosen ones. You've been mentioning Illuminatis. I'm yet to mention them. Because I don't know anything about it. Tell me.
Which? What do you mean? Which one?
Whatever that you know of chosen ones or secret order.
Um. Well, I feel like I learned a lot about them from the city here. How it's actually it's misunderstood or attributed, or we've concocted ideas of like secret order, which kind of falls in line with the three body problem. Like you said, there's one, but you know, most people have this idea that there's a small group, or maybe one person, or maybe a large group of organized leaders of the free world who control everything. And that's kind of attributed with like Illuminati or secret society, Freemasons. There's a bunch of different groups. Yeah. Do you have more questions?
Which is totally different from what he's talking about here.
Yeah, he's saying that's the misunderstanding.
Yeah, and what he's saying is the frequency souls that have developed to the CD levels to move. And this key seemed to be very, very important to me, though I didn't connect it directly. It seemed to be very important to transfer these lower instinct and emotions so you come into your own higher harmony. And then rather than thinking that there are 12 human beings, human in human form, reptilians or whatever, this is what I heard, coming in and kind of playing all these chess with us blinded ones on the bottom. So I really, really like that storytelling and a different approach, different story to the word given. So the whole concept actually has a chance to almost like erase the previous one or, or add or completely disregard it. We need more concepts. We need different meanings to words and all good words in etymology, because I often go online when I find the words that are no longer used in our language. Frequently, I don't hear them. I often go to etymology.com and I'm looking because there's like historical usage of the words that are found in poetry in a really like old classics like Goethe, for example, or Faust's, like old books, old classics. You don't have them in usage anymore, and you will see the spike on it, and then just kind of the meaning of it is
Mm-hmm.
less and less. So we don't use them because we limited the meaning of the word a lot, which brings me back to symbolism and how a symbol has much more power than just a word that we limited the meaning off of. So to me, this meant the different story about the word itself, Illuminati, that will potentially open our minds to think differently outside the box, limitation of the meaning that we give it or we are told it is. And through the storytelling, which also comes down to our creative art, the movies that we create now, we have to kind of almost hide behind the literature into the fiction. And now you have very much biographical novels based on the true fact, change the words of the names, or the names
Mm-hmm.
only. Like something is happening when the expressive creation or creative parts of our art comes in a much wider open meaning, right? It gives you the way to open up. And I love that we have you and I want to work on symbolic hermetica because it's kind of calling us back to the origins. There you go. So the origins and to everything that we have already written. Why? To find out where we come from and who we are.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when we change the story, it
Yeah.
changes the whole feeling about us.
Yeah, you said it. It kind of this new meaning around Illuminati kind of cancels out the old one. It's almost
Yes.
uh like wave frequencies, and if you send the exact opposite wave, it just neutralizes it. And maybe that's what's happening. That's why we can't see beyond the next few years. Is it's like,
Hmm.
right? It's like these new waves are coming in and neutralizing, and the waves that normally we kind of ride to prediction and seeing what's coming. It's like, whoa,
Which,
something.
by the way,
Yeah.
I want to add, I think you're going to like ancient civilizations. If you have Gaia, um, the docuseries is there. Gaia.com has beautiful documentaries out there. But it talks about the magnetic fields of the sun and the earth and how
Mm-hmm.
we all know that the sun and earth have relationship. And
Mm-hmm.
then how the magnetic field literally crosses one another. And there's this point, NASA or whatever, I don't know, who sent some satellites to measure what happens in that crossing point
Mm-hmm.
when the magnetics cancel one another. And in that crossing, you can actually teleport yourself through to all the way to the sun or to the earth, literally in a split second. This is proven. This is science, right? So this is what they are saying. It can happen. Fast down, you then move to the earth, and underneath it, what is being discovered archaeologically right now are the tuning forks called the portals, right? These portal of seeds, where the frequency and magnetic frequency is literally doing that exact thing, cancels one another, and that have been in the rocks and huge, massive stones, perfectly carved doors, which are called the portals, which, by the way, is also a Bermuda Triangle and all these different things we just disregard, but they're actually factually happening on our Earth. Hello. I love this. That at the specific frequency alignment, human body, physical flesh has entered and disappeared into another dimension. We have this on Earth. And majority of them are in the areas of war that has been going on for decades.
Mm.
So good. You're gonna love the docuseries. You should watch it with your kids. Ancient
Okay.
civilizations.
It also made me think of, when you're showing the sun and earth magnetic fields interacting. Um, I've been doing breathing exercises in the morning here and there, and I just saw a chart about shallow water blackouts. It's like, don't do this exercise before you get in the water because you think you can hold your breath longer, but it's like this phenomenon that's happening where you don't actually know when you're depleted of oxygen. And it was showing the chart of uh, CO2 levels on the bottom and oxygen levels on the top, and how as you hold your breath, they converge to a point, and then somewhere beyond that point or right at that point is where you need to take a breath. But when you off gas CO2, it extends it beyond the normal point where you would need to get oxygen again. It just made me think of, it's like, okay, cosmologically speaking, this is happening. And then if you think of the same reflection in our breath, like what's happening with CO2 and oxygen, this interaction between two molecules that, yeah, it's just pretty
As
profound.
above, so below.
Right. Yeah.
Macro to micro.
Well, thank you. I think we could probably, it's nice that you're sick because you got to be connecting dots and literally doing a puzzle, and then also like doing multiple puzzles at the same time. I know that feeling. It's very, very enriching, a little bit intoxicating.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. It was nice. It was a nice time for me. Though I just held the entire day yesterday event and I was talking about the same thing. But when there's some sort of story that is bigger than me, all of this makes it easy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And by the time we hit the 55, if we continue, we're gonna hit it right. We're gonna finish it right in February, which is where Saturn moves direct. It's like, come on. I cannot. The coincidence with this book,
Yeah.
I almost wonder
With how random we've been doing it too.
how randomly, how accurate it is.
Yeah.
It's like, if I calculated it this way, it wouldn't be. But again,
Yeah.
what if it was calculated? It's like, come on. Synchronicity is crazy. So,
Okay, speaking of synchronicity, a couple more things.
Mm.
This week is 3i Atlas's perihelion, I think December 19th.
oh yeah.
And then there's an eclipse a few days after. And 51st
Oh my
is
God.
agitation, initiative, awakening.
Of course.
So that'll be fun. And then you mentioned, I forget what you mentioned, but it sparked this thought. And I just wanted to ask this question publicly, not to like back you into a corner. I'm just curious, and I feel like it's relevant. I said that I was potentially going to be doing the Gene Keys retreat next year, which is like the year-long going through all the keys or all the sequences. And you were like, "Have fun. I'm not doing it." And I'm just curious.
Why?
Yeah.
Speaking of, I was actually thinking about it this week. I swear, it's the truth. And I was like, but why did I say no to it? I think I only said no because there's so much. I have a sense that there will be so much going on.
Yeah.
And I'm planning on doing a lot of workshops next year, and here in a local community, in a local space. And I already have the academy that I signed up for, and my work is going to just get busy. So I'm going to be so busy next year. I already know. I only have 2 more weeks. That's how I'm counting to do the puzzles. Literally. And listen, I'm almost like, there's this urgency. I have this innate sense deeply down that my life is going to change a lot. And I wouldn't have time for a lot of things that I had leisure and pleasure in indulging myself in. And that's the only reason why. And if I just almost like, if I just a thought to add that on the top of everything and minimize other studies, time for other studies, it gives me, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I respect that. And then I just want to like the thing that appealed to me because I feel the same sense of like urgency.
Mm.
And the thing that appealed to me when I was listening to him like pitch it was um he's like someone suggested he feed like their offering to AI and ask how to improve it. And AI was like chunk it out, make it smaller bite-sized things so people can easier digest it. People don't have time, all this advice. He was like, that's good advice. Slept on it a day and was like, nope, I'm going to do the opposite because long form, long experiences, rich connection, like deeper exploration. And I was like, yeah, I just need something for me, which is like what you and I are doing, that will anchor me in the profile. And then too, like, just selfishly, he's got the new book coming out, which goes through all the lines of all the keys. And I'm like, here we go again. There's another thing. Um, and I'm just curious about, you and I we kind of read each other's uh Pearl sequence and that was fun. I'm like, hmm, yeah.
And did you sign up already?
I've still been debating it. I was like, I need to talk to Melitza and just find out because typically you have a unique perspective and a ability to challenge things where I don't always see it the way you do. So I'm like, oh, I just want to get your perspective and then
Rarely do things stick to me for a long time.
mm-hmm.
Gemini rising. I need variety, but
Yep.
astrology did. And this is one thing. It's like, no matter what, astrology, there's so much in it, but it's
Mm-hmm.
precise. And if I were to have any technical skill to look into the map and theorize everything else, I think that's the reason why, because I'm leaning into mathematical equations and then translation through my language of it, it can be philosophical, right? And this to me is very philosophical in sense, and it leans into the astrology. So rarely does it stick. I'm rich with it, but I also feel I'm not FOMO-y. I don't feel FOMO after I'm done with the book.
Yeah.
There's a sense coming that it will be completed, that I will go to it just, to reference. But when I'm thinking about, like, for example, if I want to talk to you in the language that you like to receive it, I'm going to look into astrology. That's why I sent you Mercury and Aquarius. You and I hang out because you can't take normal. It has to be abnormal. And when you understand my Mercury, if this can give that mapping that's precise, then yes. But to me, this is very open and philosophical in nature, and I need something so grounding. And that's why I stuck with astrology.
Yeah.
So you're
Makes
more than
sense.
welcome to join. I think it's the same cost actually to academia. My astrologer's academia. You might not like her because you have to kind of, or you might adore her, but you
Is
you
she has like stuff on YouTube or anything free I
she
can
has over
just check her out?
yes, she has over 2,000 videos on YouTube. She she's
Yeah,
doing the
send me.
workshop in Seattle again in May, and she's been going to stick with it. But I'm going to send you some of them related to Pisces. So, for example, I learned everything that I know from her, and then I expanded from it. But I'm sticking with her because she gives you this raw both sides. She's not just nice, but she's nice about it. And there's an upcoming last video of pains and pitfalls of Pisces coming this Sunday, which I'm so excited because she took forever. She finished every other sign other than Pisces, and she does the random things like that. And it's going to be interesting. I'm going to send you that video. You should watch it for how she explains the shadow side of the Pisces too.
Hmm.
And maybe I'll send you for the Aries, and you can recognize yourself in it. So think about it, if you want to come and join.
Well, I will admit to you that I have been waiting an invitation.
What? From
Yeah.
me?
Yeah.
Seriously? Why do
Yeah,
you need me to
I'm
invite
like,
you?
when am I gonna get invited to this inner circle of astrologers?
Oh my God.
I'm like,
She hasn't.
I gotta prove that I know something first.
You're gonna love it. We just met yesterday to talk and dissect each other's charts. This is crazy. It's like
Oh yeah.
the amount of knowledge, and I'm meeting with them today as well. So I'm gonna send you a video, and I expect you to sign up now
Okay. Send
and
it over.
come on her retreat in Seattle in May. Three weekend. Consider it.
3 weekends?
I'm sorry, 3 days. It's just one weekend.
3 days. Oh, okay.
There's
Yeah, definitely consider it.
one male in 50 females. Just saying, but we're all astrologers. Doesn't matter the gender.
Well, I don't have an issue with that.
No, we're
I
so
I work well with women, so
yeah. That's why I think you're gonna love this. Oh my God! Congrats. Welcome. It took me 2 years to convince you in it, and you got there.
I only started actually like looking at astrology 3 months ago, 4 months ago. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm baby.
We got you covered.
All right.
Oh my God. Enjoy your weekend
Yeah,
or a
love
week.
you.
I'll see
Thank you for
you.
showing up today. It was really, really good. I appreciate it.
Oh, it was so good. It was healing and regenerative. Ciao.
Ciao.